Hello lovely Flosstube friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lauren, also known as Cross Stitch Bunny here on YouTube and over on Instagram. It is the 2nd of October today and this episode of my Flosstube is going to be my stitchy roundup for September. I did not get round to doing any filming whatsoever of my September stitching, completely passed by my usual mid-month filming and just didn't have time to do it. We have been so very busy doing all the house things. My house is looking a lot better, a lot more decluttered, tidy, but my stitching has taken a back seat. So I thought I was definitely due a catch up. I am sorry that it's a little bit late. I do have a fair few things to share with you today, although as I said, I've been doing a little less stitching than usual. So I did kind of add up very quickly my September stitching last night in terms of hours. I've got about 37 hours of stitching to share with you from the month of September. Typically I have more like 60 to 80 hours in a month, so a lot less stitching has been happening, but I still have 5 lovely projects to share with you. I've got 1 finish, 1 new start, 3 whips. I've got a giveaway announcement for the 2 diaries I was giving away, so if you entered that giveaway then make sure you stay to find out if you won. And I've got a little bit of haul to share with you, which was not actually purchased in September. I think it was like August haul, but at the end of my last August video, I don't think I had time to show it and I said I would save it. So that will come out today and we'll have a route through my haul. So starting off with a finish, because everyone loves a finish. I have finally finished my Bothy Wrendale Grow Your Own Bunny. I'm very happy. This was close to a finish last time I showed you, but it is now completed. Here is my lovely Bothy bunny, not ironed. I apologise for that. I've not had time for ironing. I've barely had time for stitching. This will get an iron before I file it away in like my portfolio file until I decide to do something with it. But yeah, I'm very happy with how this bunny's turned out. And I just always think these Wrendale designs are charted so beautifully and cleverly to not really need any backstitch. Like the detail in them and all those vegetables look amazing and the bunny looks amazing, and literally the only backstitch in this entire design are those little whiskers and hairy bits on the bunny's ears and face. That is it. No other backstitch anywhere. And yet it makes such a pretty picture. I am a really big fan. Really big fan of Wrendale kits. I do think they are absolutely gorgeous. I love all the colours in this one as well, because with a lot of the Wrendales, with them all being animals and like very nature inspired, there's often a lot of browns, greys, other than like the more tropical or jungle animals like the toucan and things like that, where you might get some splashes of colour. Like the majority are in very kind of neutral shades, and I do love the huge pops of colour on this one with all the vegetables, which is kind of what attracted me to stitch it in the first place. It's just so colourful and so pretty. This is a kit, so I've stitched this with all the kit supplied materials, so all the threads that came with the kit, and this is on the 14 count Wrendale Ada with all the speckly bits on it. And yeah, very, very pleased to have this ticked off my list. I have mentioned that I've been trying to be really good with new starts. I'm looking to reduce my whips. In an ideal world, I would love to get down to below 30 whips by the end of the year. I would like to go into 2024 with less than 30 whips. I'm not sure how achievable that is for me, but I am at the very least trying to not increase my whip count at the moment. So I'm not supposed to really be having new starts if I can help it. However, I had said to myself, if I manage to finish 1 whip, I am going to join in with the Wreathathon that's being hosted by Jo at Belushi Stitches and Emma X Stitch. So I was really pleased when Bunny was finished, because it meant that I could jump onto the Wreathathon and join in, whilst being mindful of not wanting to put too much on my plate and trying to finish things. I opted for a really small wreath design that I showed you in my last episode. I showed you a picture, I'll pop it on the screen again. So this is Little Mouse. The designer is Anastasia, Ermina, and it is less than 2,500 stitches, I think, overall. I think it's like 2,400 cross stitches in the design, plus backstitch, but it's not a very big piece. So I thought this was a good option. I have several wreath designs in my stash. I have a couple of like Halloween style wreaths. I've got like a Cinderella inspired wreath, loads of winter ones, but this was basically like the lowest stitch count, the smallest one I had. So I can join in the sale, but hopefully, you know, get it finished relatively quickly so that it's not adding to my whips for too long. So this is my start on Little Mouse. I'm stitching this on, it's not, I can't decide whether this is a raw linen or not because this is just pulled from my stash. I don't think it is. I think it is like a, it's very similar to like raw colour, but not quite the same. So I'm going to call this beige. This is just a mystery random piece of beige linen from my stash. It is a 28 count. Although I think I had to measure the count on it, and when I counted it, it was looking like it was like 29. I've written it down in my notes as a 28 count, because it's definitely not a 32 count. So we'll go with 28. And here is my start. So I did a centre start with this, starting with the little nose. Excuse the broken nail, which I ripped off a couple of days ago, which was very painful. Yes, started with the centre start with the little nose of the mouse, started to outline the face here, but I've been concentrating quite a bit on these lovely berries. I think this is a really nice little start. The mouse on the berries is really the bulk of the design because the wreath on this is very sparse, as you saw in the picture. It is literally just a few little bits of foliage that will need to go around the edge. And you can see that, you know, the mouse is not far off being finished. Like, it is not a big mouse. The back stitch will really make this and make it all come to life, because obviously with it being like less than 2,500 stitches in the whole design, like this is really reliant on the back stitch to pick out all the detailing, because it's just not terribly big. But yes, happy with this. So this is my my joining in with Wreathathon 2023. If you're joining in, I would love to see what you're stitching. Like if you're taking part in this sale, drop me a comment here or message me on Instagram so that I can follow you if I'm not already. I've been finding the Instagram tags a nightmare at the moment with yeah, they've removed like the most recent post option, haven't they? Or they had last time I checked. So I can't just like search for a tag and look at the most recent posts. They're just all jumbled. It's got, I think, like top posts and recent top posts, and it's just rubbish. I hate it. I don't like that. I don't like the new Instagram. The old one was better, where you could just search by most recent and they would all be in order, and then we could keep up with all the sale hashtags. It's a lot more tricky now. So if you are taking part in that sale, do drop me a message on Instagram so I can follow you. Because otherwise there's just no way. There's no way at the moment to keep up properly with any hashtags. It's super annoying. Anyway, I digress. We'll get back to the stitching. I have 3 other whips to share with you. I'm going to start off with my Beachcomber whip by Lindy Stitches. I love this design so much. Fell in love with it the moment I saw it. Tried everywhere to find it. Tried to buy it from America. I couldn't, because the only shop that has it as an exclusive pattern doesn't ship to the UK. A super amazing stitchy friend who had been to America and bought it has lent it to me. I'm so grateful. You know who you are. Thank you. Because there was literally not another way that I could have got my hands on this. So yeah, that was super generous and really nice. I'm trying not to let this languish for too long. I'm trying to finish it as fast as I can. But I'm not a monogamous stitcher, so I can't just stitch on one thing, but I am trying to chip away at this and not let it languish in the pile. This is where I was last time you saw it, and I've done quite a lot of filling in on the giant box. So this is where we are now. Hopefully you can see, you can see that I have done quite a bit more, and if I try and get close, you can see like the gaps I've left where the letters will go. So those words are not filled in yet, but they're starting to appear in the box. Not a lot to say about this because the bits of stitching I've been doing on it are not the most interesting. You know, it is just filling in, but I love the colours on this. I'm super happy with the whale that I've already finished, and I can't wait to get some more of this done. I know it's completely out of season now. This was more of a summer sort of whip, but never mind. I'm not the kind of person that sticks rigidly to stitching things when it's that season. In fact, like I've been known to to pull out winter inspired whips in the middle of summer when I'm feeling too hot. So yeah, I don't mind continuing to stitch on this like summery inspired whip through autumn and winter until I hopefully get a finish, fingers crossed. But it's not a small whip, it is quite a large one. There's a lot left to do, but it's also quite easy stitching, like this box. I do have to pay attention obviously to where I leave the gaps for the letters, but you know, it is just one colour, sticking to one colour. I'm hoping to get this all filled in fairly quickly, and then it will be nice to jump back to doing all the little motifs. I need to finish my crab because I've left my crab half finished. Poor little crab. I am stitching this on a 32 count. This is natural beige linen from my Stitch Bunny shop, and I'm stitching this 2/2 in all the called for, and there's a mix of threads in this. It's got both DMC and classic colourworks. I'm just using all the called for. There are Mill Hill beads, which I will not be using the called for when I get to them. I will just be using randoms from Stash, which I've previously explained. There's hardly any on here, and I didn't see the point in buying entire packs of beads when I can just pick something sort of similar colours that I've already got. So that is my Beachcomber whip. Beautiful design. I do love Lindy stitches. They have so many designs that are so pretty. Next whip to share with you is going to be my Soda Stitch Secret Forest. This is another Sal whip, so I'm stitching this as part of Start All the Sodas. That is being hosted by Rogue Mama Stitcher and a couple of others, I think. And yeah, the rules are simple. You just stitch a soda and use the hashtag. It doesn't seem to be any time frame, any rules. As long as it's by Soda Designs, you can stitch on it and feel included in the sale. I know a lot of people have jumped onto this bandwagon, and I'm loving seeing all the soda stitches that are popping up on my Instagram feed. This was my Secret Forest the last time that you saw it, and I have done quite a bit more on this. Again, this isn't a huge design. I do feel like I am really getting somewhere with it now. This is where I'm at. Give you a bit of a closer view. I just love these soda designs, they are so cute. You can see that little boy is not far from being finished. I've made really good progress on the little girl, filled in a lot of that hair. I've started on her dress, and you can almost see that this is a tire at this point that they're swinging on. Like, you can see the round shape of it and kind of make out what it is. I've started on some of the foliage up here and the little rope. I'm very pleased with how this is looking. I was not sure when I started like with all the pinks in this skin. Like, I'm using all the called for colours, but there does seem to be like quite a stark contrast between this like darker pink peach and the lighter, and I really wasn't sure about it when I was stitching. I was like, wow, that is a huge contrast. I'm not sure that I like it. But it is the called for colours. I just decided to stick with it and trust it. I am using a little bit of a mix of brands in this, which I don't usually do, but I wanted to pull from Stash without doing any thread shopping. So this has got DMC, Royal Broidery and CXC threads in it. And I think that this like darker peachy pink shade is one of the CXC threads I'm using, and I did get out my like colour card for DMC and like compare it. There is a very slight difference, so it is not a perfect match for the DMC with that number. However, if anything, I thought the DMC actually looked even brighter, and that was like, I thought, well, maybe the thread that I'm using isn't a good match for the DMC, and maybe that's why it looks like a big contrast. But the DMC, if anything, was actually a stronger colour, and if anything, this CXC that I was using was a little bit of a weaker version of the same bright pink shade. So I just decided to stick with it, roll with it, trust it. I'm gonna be interested to see what it looks like when I've actually back stitched it and stuff like that. I don't know, what do you think? I've not stitched many soda patterns, and the only soda that I have stitched so far was a little, was it a hedgehog? No, it was a cat. I was thinking of hedgehogs because I have a soda pattern with hedgehogs. I know the only soda stitch that I've done so far was a little cat, so I've not actually done any soda people yet. This is my first one with people in it. I don't know whether this is usual to have like such a contrast when you're stitching the skin. I don't know. But yes, I'm going to see what it looks like. I'm not unhappy with it. It just seems like a very big jump between shades. But anyway, this is being stitched on a 32 count. This is Sparkle Blush Blooms fabric. It's even weave, not linen. And this is from Stitch Bunny Shop. I don't know if you'll see it very well on here, but it is like a mixture of very, very pale green and pink, and it is sparkly. I do love this fabric. I think this piece was an offcut from me starting the Mirabilia Baker's Wife a really long time ago, which you've not seen for forever other than in whip parades. Yeah, I'm fairly sure that was the offcut I had lying around from when I started that. And what else do I have to show you? One more whip. This is a lovely one. This is another one you've not seen for a while. I'm pretty sure the last time you saw this was in my whip parade. This is Welcome to the Forest by Country Cottage Needleworks. Another sal. I started this as a sal with my friend Charlie from Charlie Feathers. And it's really funny, like we both had not worked on this for ages. We started it together back in March of this year. And we both worked on it a little bit, and then neither of us seemed to have pulled it out for quite a while. And we both said to each other, oh, we should do that soon. But that was like a couple of months ago when we were chatting. We were like, we should probably pull that out. Neither of us did. We carried on stitching on other things. And then a few days ago, like towards the end of September, I was just kind of a bit bored. I've been working on the soda stitch like for quite a few days. Probably about 5 or 6 days. I'd just been working on the soda stitch because I hadn't been getting much stitchy time. I wasn't sitting down for hours at a time. It was like grabbing 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but I hadn't picked up anything else other than that design for the best part of a week. And I do like to switch. And I just thought to myself, what do I fancy working on? I had a rummage through my whip box and I was like, oh, I'm going to pull this Welcome to the Forest out. So I started having a good old stitch on it. I messaged Charlie and then she was like, have you seen my post on Instagram? I was like, no. She was like, I've just pulled it out as well. And it was really strange and really funny that we both decided to pull it out literally on the same day and start restitching on it with no consultation and not knowing that that's what either of us were doing. So yeah, that was quite funny. We've started in completely different places. So if you check out Charlie's, we've done different bits. We started in different places. I decided to start at the top and work down. So last time you saw it on my whip parade, I was up to here. You've not seen it for a little while, and I think I've made amazing progress on this. To tell me what you think, but I am very, very happy with how much I've done. Look! This top block is the largest. All the others are kind of like half the size because you get 2 blocks that fit underneath and they go down in a line. I started at the top with the big one, the Welcome to the Forest sort of banner, and it's not that far from a finish. So I've done all of the outline, which you'd already seen in the white, but all these flags, all that is new. Most of this flower is new, other than I think last time it just had green stem on it. And oh, I feel like I'm knocking my needle off. I'll just hold it still. Done like all the little mushrooms. And I did post this on Instagram recently, but then I've managed to get all of this done since then. Done this side of the stick. And yes, I'm feeling really happy with this. I filled in all the letters. They were not filled in, I don't think. Oh no, some of those were filled in on my Instagram post, but I've finished them. I'm really, really, really pleased with how this is looking. I have pulled out the French knots on here. So on this little mushroom, I had I had done the French knots. There was like 3 or 4 of them on each of these toadstools, and I had done them, but then I decided to pull them out because I wasn't 100% happy with them. On the pattern, it said to do the French knots in single strand. And I don't really like doing French knots or colonial knots or whatever method you use. I don't like doing them with single strand. I find it tricky, and I find it easier to do them with 2 strands. So that is what I did. And then as I was staring at it more and more, I will pop up a picture because I did have a picture when the French knots were in. I will try and include a picture so you can see what I mean. I thought maybe I did make a mistake doing them with the 2 strands, and I should try and do them as called for with a single strand. So I've pulled them out for now, and I'm just going to leave it and have a think about it. But I just thought the ones with 2 strands maybe did look a little bit bulky, and decided to pull them out. Whether I end up putting them back in with 2 strands or whether I persevere and do them with a single strand, we will see. But I always find like single strand French knots a bit more tricky. I struggle with them. I do. So I'm not sure. They may just end up going back in with 2 strands if I don't manage to do the single strand or like get them looking nice. But I am going to give it a go. I'm going to try. So welcome to the forest. This is a biggie. So I'm almost finished on this first block. I think there's 6 more blocks to go, like 3 here and 3 here in a big old line. Like this is a big long piece of fabric. So there is a lot left to do. I am stitching this on 32 count Nostalgia linen from my own Stitch Bunny shop. It is one of my favourites. I think it's one of your favourites as well, those of you that shop with me, because I'm currently, I think I'm all out. I don't think I've got any even listed in the shop at the moment, but I may have some in my stock room. I need to do a little stock check, and I may be able to get this back up soon. But this is one of my favourite neutral prints. I do absolutely love it. This is being stitched in all the called for, so a mixture of DMC and Classic Colourworks. The Classic Colourworks is on the flags here in this lovely sort of blue shade, which is really tealy, I think. The Classic Colourworks is also this is Jolly Holly, and the brown is Hazelnut. I do have to say that the hazelnut, which I'm using for the border and for these sticks here, I can't really see the variegation in that. It is very subtle, and when I'm stitching with it, really, I probably could have just used a DMC brown because I'm not really seeing much difference. It looks lovely in the flags, like you can see all the variegation in the flags, and it is subtle again in this Jolly Holly, but I do think that you can see it. This one here, the white is, I think, is it Snowball or Snowfall? Something beginning with snow, and that is also a Classic Colourworks. And again, I honestly don't see any variegation in that white whatsoever, so I probably could have just used normal white, because I think there's like 2 or 3 of the Classic Colourworks you need to do all the white. I could have just used a DMC white. I don't think it would have been very much different, but I've got the called for now, so I'm going to use them. Oh yeah, and I'm stitching this all 2 over 2. I always forget to say that. Yes, for future reference, because I always forget, if I'm stitching on 28 count, 32 count or 36 count, it's always 2 over 2, always, unless I say otherwise. That's probably an easier way to do it, because I pretty much always forget to say that I'm stitching 2 over 2. But I usually am, unless there's a specific, like a reason not to, like if I'm doing a fancy lady and doing the skin slightly differently. I always stitch 2 over 2 on those higher counts. What else do we have? We have a lovely little bag of haul here to go through, but before I do that, I'm just going to quickly do the giveaway winners before I forget. So in my last video, or was it the video before that? I can't remember. It feels like a little while ago now, because I've missed filming at least one Flosstube. I did have 2 of these lovely Luca S diaries to give away. This was courtesy of Hobby Jobby, and they gifted me one of these diaries for my own use and very kindly gifted me 2 extra copies to give away to you. I have done the draw. I did it last night because I tried to make notes and do everything and be super organised for this Flosstube episode so that I could film it this morning quickly as soon as I'd done the school run. So the winners I will pop on the screen, but winner number 1 was Welsh Valley Stitcher. Well done. I'll pop the winning comment on the screen. And the second winner was Karen Greening, and I will pop your comment on the screen as well. So big well done to both of you. I would love to send you your diary. Please message me either on Instagram. I will pop my Instagram name back on the screen just so you can find me on there. Or email me. My email address is always in the show notes, but it is stitchbunnyshop@gmail.com. Message me either on email or on Instagram, and I will get your diaries posted out to you. Well done both of you. I hope you enjoy them. They are lovely, really nice, so I do hope that you enjoy using them. Haul. Shall we move on to haul, or shall we do a little bit of a goals section first? We'll do the goals because they're super quick. So for September, I'm not doing whip go. I don't have any set goals. I'm just looking on reducing my whip count. I didn't reduce my whip count, but I did keep it stable. So I'm calling that a win, especially because I've just not been doing as much stitching. I've not had as much time. So I'm happy that I finished one, started one. So I'm still at 33 whips. That is where we're at. So yes, hopefully in October, we will see some downwards movement on that number. That is my hope. So my only other sort of goal for September was to stitch on something spooky. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. So we're writing off the theme for September. I didn't get round to it. Goal for October, my only goal for October, like I said, is to reduce my whip count a little bit. And my general theme for October, in the themes that I set up at the beginning of the year, one theme per month. October's theme is a lovely one. It is all creatures great and small. So I can stitch on anything that's got an animal in it, and it will be a big tick for having worked on that theme. And I'm definitely going to be putting more stitches into Welcome to the Forest. I'm definitely going to be working on my little mouse. So straight away, I know that 100% I am going to stitch animal things in October. So I will have at least done my theme for October. So I'm happy about that. That is all the goals, nothing else. So that was quick. We will move on to haul. This is going to be a bit crinkly. I am sorry. It's all in a big plastic bag. This was haul from August that I've just not shown you yet because I've been a bit busy. It is a random assortment of things. I've got a few interesting bits. One of them is this snag nabbit. So I have actually used this. It is open, but I slipped it back into the packaging just so I could show you guys. And I love it. I think I saw this on Teresa Little Stitches Flosstube. I'm fairly certain that is who I've seen with one of these. And I made like a mental note that I need to purchase one and try one. And I love it. It is so clever. I don't know if you can see it very well in the packaging. Let's try it this way. Can you see that? Is it going to show up? It's like a really skinny needle-like thing, but it's like textured at the top and kind of swirly, and yeah, it does exactly what it says. Like it grabs your stitches and takes them straight through to the back if you've got like one that's a bit loose or something that's a bit fluffy, or if you've been frogging. It's amazing for just like pushing all those little bits through, like without damaging your other stitches around it. Yeah, really pleased with that. Really handy little tool. Yes, it's strange, but it works. I like it a lot. So that was one little bit of haul. Next bit of haul is just a lovely Threadworks thread. So this is the Smoking Gun Threadworks. It's like a grey and white variegated thread. The number is 1122. But the name of it is Smoking Gun, and this is the grey thread that I am using in my Modern Folk embroidery, what is it called? Mind is blank. The 2023 sale. You're probably screaming the name at me, those of you that are stitching it. I honestly can't remember. I'll pop a picture up, you know which one I mean. I am doing this in Threadworks threads, and when I originally placed my thread order, I'd ordered enough of these, but the shop that I ordered them from was short, and instead of cancelling my order or contacting me, they just sent me what they had, and I was missing one, so I finally ordered a new one. To add, like, they were finally back in stock. I found them online, so I was able to order the one that I needed, and I have put it with the others in my whip bag to have a quick look, and it does seem to match. Because I was worried. Obviously the reason I tried to buy all the ones I needed at once was to make sure I didn't get different batches and they didn't end up drastically different shades of grey, but it looks fine, so fingers crossed that all worked out okay. I'm not going to grab these out, but I've got quite a lot of Krynic here, so two lovely like orangey gold ones, like a gunmetal. I think that one might be periwinkle at the top, and then like quite a nice green. I think these are for like the fairy patterns I bought recently, which I've also got here. I'll show you these. So these are Dreamweaver fairies. So this is Dreamweaver Jubilee. And these are by Meridian Designs. Got Dreamweaver Enigma. And the last one is Dreamweaver Rapture. So 3 lovely fairies. These do remind me, like obviously they're a little bit fancy lady style. They do remind me, maybe not of Mirabilia's, but maybe a bit more like Nora Corbett fairies from that line. They are very pretty, and yes, these sparkly threads are all for those, I believe, if memory serves. I think that's why I ordered them. They've all got quite a few sparkly bits in them. Some of the Krynic I've already got in stash, so there's much greater numbers of Krynic than this are required to stitch those 3 fairies, but some of them I've already got, so I just bought the ones I didn't have. I treated myself to this Joan Elliott Winter's Gift, which I absolutely love. I do now have an embarrassingly high number of Joan Elliott designs in my collection, either via her book zines, like the book magazine special editions, or just single patterns. I've not done any of them. I've not even started any of them. That is something I need to do in 2024, along with 1,000 other things that I want to start, but I really should start one of these ladies, and I do love this one. I think she's really pretty, really lovely. What else? We have Winter Solstice, which is another Joan Elliott. And showing you this one now on the screen, I'm having massive deja vu that I've showed you this before. Yeah, I'm not sure. I swear that this bag of haul you've not seen. If you have, I really apologise. I'm pretty confident I hadn't shown these, but this particular pattern, I feel like I've shown it before. Anyway, if I have, it doesn't hurt to look through it again because it's all nice stuff. But I love this Winter Solstice pattern, absolutely gorgeous. Really pretty. I'm looking forward to stitching this one a lot. And you know, it's not a small design, but it is a lot of black. I think it's black. I've not opened the pattern to actually look what it is. I don't know whether it's like a really dark shade of grey or something like that. It looks black on the model picture. But in any case, whatever shade of grey or black it is, there is a lot of single colour. So there shouldn't be too much colour changing in this. I'm excited to start that one. I've got this cute little kit. So another winter one. There's quite a lot of winter themed things here, but it is the season. This is a Clark kit. Cute little snowman with some little owl friends. Very, very sweet. I got this Just Nan, Oh Dear, which I think is absolutely gorgeous. I just saw this and loved it. This is all stitched in DMC. There are quite a lot of colours in it for such a small design, but they're all DMC other than one Krynic, which is the shade Platinum. Trying to limit the glare on here. You get the idea. It's 3 cute little deers, and it's got like the little birds above it. And this did come with like the little embellishments that you need, which is beads and then a couple of like tiny little frosted glass flowers. Yeah, cute. And like there's some different finishing options here. They're like, one of them stuck behind the beads. I'll try and move them. There we go. Yeah, there's like some different finishing ideas here. So it's, you know, it's framed up here. What is that? They've got it finished as, is that like a little, just a little hanging ornament they've turned it into? Yeah, not sure, but that is kind of cute. Don't know why I bother looking at the pretty finishes because I never actually fully finish anything, but it's nice to look. It's nice to look at what I could do if I actually did any finishing. I really do think that you've seen some of this haul. Maybe not all of it. I think you've seen at least some of it. So I do apologise because I'm fairly confident I've shown you these ravens before. fairly confident. But anyway, this is a lovely design. This is a Rivaris design, and it is just called Seven Crows. Absolutely love that. A little bit Halloweeny, I guess, with it being crows, ravens, like, but without being too spooky. I do like this. I like all the words on it. Like I used to, I think everyone like has sung that little rhyme when they're a kid. So it's a lovely one. I've got this little cat one, and I bought the fabric for this. It didn't come kitted, but I bought the fabric. I bought this single white thread that is needed to stitch this design, but it did come with the little embellishments. So yeah, this is by Cotton Pixels. It's not a designer that I'm particularly familiar with, but I do like this. It's very cute. I have not saved the most exciting haul for last, because this is a very practical and boring piece of haul, but I got myself some nice new needles. Always like to try out different needles, and I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but I think that Ina Stitches let me try one of these needles. I think last time I was at a retreat with her, she gave me one of these needles to try out, and I really liked it, so I decided to buy a packet. And that is everything. So that is all of my haul. Apologies if you've seen some of that before. I was fairly sure that you hadn't, but then there's just like a couple of charts in there that I really think maybe you had seen. Anyway, I will now put all of it out of my haul box and into my stash, so then I won't be showing it you a third time if that was the second time. That is everything from me. I hope that you've enjoyed seeing all my stitchy stuff. I'll say bye now to those of you that are shooting straight off to watch the next Flosstube in your lineup. For those of you that are interested in a little bit of life update, I have been obviously getting on with my house, doing a mountain load of cleaning and decluttering. You know, it's not that we live in filth or that my house is dirty, but when you're looking to put your house up for sale and list it, like, you notice everything, don't you? You notice everything, and suddenly, because you're doing such a deep clean, you do that in one room and then you have to do it in the next room, because otherwise, like, compared to the room that's had a super deep clean, you go into the next room and you're like, oh gosh, it looks terrible. So yeah, I've just been doing loads of cleaning, loads of tidying, loads of decluttering. We did get everything done in time to have the estate agents come out and value, so we ended up having 3 different estate agents out. Obviously every time one of them were coming to visit, I was again doing like last minute things, making sure it's as perfect as it can be. It's been, yeah, a busy month, lots of people coming and going from the house for various reasons. Adam's been doing loads of outdoor work on the garden areas and things like that, with one of his friends. So yeah, they've been getting loads of stuff done outside. I've been doing loads of stuff inside. I've not been sitting down and having too much time to sit and relax. And then after all of that, like, we are still moving, we are listing the house for sale, but there is a but. We were really hoping to get it listed like by the end of the month of September, and we were on track with getting them to come and view it, to value it. We've worked so hard, but after a little bit of a conversation about it with, like, out of the 3 estate agents that came to value it, like, we decided that we liked one in particular. Having a bit of a chat with them and chatting between ourselves, like myself and Adam, we feel that with how close we are now getting to Christmas, it is not a great time to list, generally for anyone. Like, there's a very short window now between now and Christmas, and like the estate agent advisors that, you know, although you can list your house at any time of year, listing it now, like by the time they took all the photos, did all the stuff, actually got it listed, it will probably be at least 2 to 3 weeks before everything's done in terms of the floor plans, all the write-ups, all that kind of thing. So really, we would be like mid-October by the time they actually managed to get it listed online. and that would give us an incredibly short window, basically a month, until like the middle of November. And if we didn't have offers on the table by then, we were advised that things then really do quiet down. Like, you know, there's a lot of people rushing to complete in the run up to Christmas because they want to be in their new house, but there is like a vast reduction in people putting in offers sort of by the back end of November through December. It's not the best time. So we decided on that basis that, you know, we've done the hard work. It is actually done now. It is actually ready. We've got our valuation. We're happy with that. We are all ready to go, but we are leaving it until March, April. And on the one hand, I'm so disappointed because we're actually at the point now where we've done all the work. But at the same time, we want to give it the best chance of selling, and we don't want to list it at a time of year that isn't going to help that process along, is going to perhaps make it more difficult. Like, the last thing we want is to put it up for sale and it sits there and then it looks like there's something wrong with it or something like that. So yeah, we want to list it at a good time of year, and it's looking like spring would be a better time to list it. Also, we've got loads of lovely trees in the back garden, and when it's spring and summer, it looks gorgeous and it looks very secluded and it looks very private, and all those trees block out the view of like all the houses that surround us. In winter and like in autumn, like we're getting to that point now where that is not the case. Like, all those leaves fall off, and instead of looking at just pretty trees in your own little bit of private garden, you can just see all the houses through the tree branches because there's no leaves anymore. So yeah, the garden looks a lot nicer in spring and summer as well. So that is really when we would like people to come and see it, when it's looking its best. Yes. Other life update. I've got a lot of puppies in the house, so we're busy with that. We're due another litter, which could have been born yesterday or the day before that, but they weren't. They could be born today. I've literally got the monitor just off camera to my right because I'm keeping an eye on Rose. Yes, got loads of puppies in the house. Here, I'll throw up some puppy spam for you. So these are my smallest babies at the moment, but we will have some new arrivals soon who are even younger and tinier. Yes, all the puppy cuteness. I've got some older puppies that have just left us, so at least they've gone to their homes now, so that our hands will not be too full when the new babies arrive. It's going to be a few sleepless nights. It's been a few sleepless nights over the last few nights waiting for them to arrive, but they haven't yet. Yeah, I don't think I have too much else exciting to say. A couple of my dogs are getting really annoyed at the moment and being noisier than usual because a couple of the girls are in season and we don't want any more babies right now. So the boys are very put out by that. Very, very put out. They're having to stay separate from the girls. They're not allowed to be near them because we don't want accidents. But yeah, Peanut especially. I've got 3 boys. Well, I've got 4 boys, but one is a very old boy who's not intact. He's not a stud dog, but we've got 3 stud dogs. And they are being very vocal at their displeasure at the moment at being separated from the girls. They're really not happy. They've been confined to their little bachelor pad area. Yeah, I can hear them right now. I can hear them giving me grief. They just want to go and mix in and mingle and be with the girls, but that's not going to happen for another couple of weeks till we know that we're safe. So speaking of dogs, I am going to go and check on all my babies. I'm going to go and play with the boys, give them some attention so they feel less miserable. And I am going to endeavour and really try hard to not miss my October mid-month episode. I'm not going to commit to it fully though. We'll see what happens. Like I said, lots of puppies in the house, more puppies due to arrive soon. Very, very busy. And I have got a retreat due in October. I've forgotten the actual dates. I need to look on my calendar and make sure I don't miss it, but I am going to the NOBAM October retreat and I'm super excited. I don't know if you will remember, but I was supposed to go to a retreat in September in Solihull and I had to pull out and miss it. I'm fairly sure I mentioned it. I had to pull out and miss it because of a few things that were going on. So I was able to tag along to the October one. Like, I was on the wait list and I was super lucky that a place became available. So I'm really looking forward to that. Although I did have, I'll tell you this one last thing before I go. I had a retreat nightmare. literally, I think it was the day before yesterday, I woke up in the morning, I was genuinely in a panic. And I had dreamt, and it felt really real to me while I was dreaming it. I dreamt that I had turned up at the No-Ban retreat, so I'd driven all the way to Northampton, and I'd packed my bag in terms of like my clothes and all that kind of stuff. But I arrived there, I sat myself down in the stitching room, had a hello and a chat with everyone, and then realised I'd taken no stitching stuff. I didn't have my stand, like my Lowry, which I always take to retreats with me because I do not like stitching without it. So I'd not got my stand. I'd not got any whips, I'd not taken any new starts, I hadn't taken any scissors, any needles, like my little like sewing box of all the practical stuff, nothing. I had literally turned up in my dream to a retreat with nothing to stitch on, no hoops, no frames, no stand, and I woke up like genuinely in a panic until I like realised, like I came round and was like, oh no, it was a dream, I'm not there yet. It's still September. So I'm taking this as a sign that maybe I need to pack really early. Like usually I do my retreat packing last minute. I'm not going to do that. This has like spooked me a little bit. I'm going to make sure that I've packed all my stuff for October really far in advance. Yeah, because I don't want that dream to become a reality, because it was not a good dream. It was definitely a nightmare. I do not want that to be happening. Granted, there's always plenty of shopping that you can do at a retreat, but still, I can't think of anything worse than turning up like without anything to stitch on. That would not be good. So on that note, I am going to go. Got loads of doggy stuff to do, loads of bits to do with my pups. I hope that you enjoyed seeing them. I need to do like a live show and tell with them at some point where I actually sit and play with them while you can see them properly. But yes, I'm not sure how that would work with like setting up the tripod, and I'd have to have it like pointing on the floor because they're all running round. I will try and do that at some point, but I hope you've at least enjoyed the little bit of footage of the babies rolling around and being cute in their whelping area. They're still a bit little to be doing anything more exciting than that at the moment, but yeah, they are super cute. Really cute. I hopefully will see you all in a couple of weeks. Like I said, I do have the retreat and I'm not sure of the dates. I want to say that maybe it's around the 16th or thereabouts. And usually I'd film my mid-month update like a little bit before that. So yes, I might do a mid-month update, but save it until after the retreat. So it might be filmed like, yeah, a little bit more than halfway through the month, just so I can include the retreat stuff in it. Or if I'm super organised, I might film my usual mid-month update and then do a separate retreat video as like a Flosstube extra. We'll see. We'll see how much time I manage to dedicate to filming, as to which way I end up doing it. But either way, I look forward to showing you what the retreat was like and what I get up to once I've been. I'm sure it's going to be super fun. And yeah, take care. Oh, excuse me, take care. Have a lovely couple of weeks of stitching. I hope those of you that are into your seasonal stitching are going to be enjoying all your Halloween whips. I know I've seen a few of them popping up on Instagram at this point. Lots of spooky stitching going on. I've seen some spooky themed Flosstubes going up. I need to catch up with those and watch them. And yeah, take care everyone. Have a lovely couple of weeks. Giveaway winners, don't forget to message me so I can send your stuff to you, and I will see you all soon, guys. Bye.